please welcome Senior Vice President of External Affairs, Charlotte Selmeyer.
You're the soul who understands.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 2023 NMPA Annual Meeting. Today, we are opening our show with a special surprise. We are honoring a writer who has made an incredible contribution to NMPA and the entire songwriting community. 4 years ago today, NMPA made the historic announcement that it was adding songwriters to its board of directors. Liz Rose and Ross Golan were named as the first songwriters to join the NMPA board. That's right. Today, Liz Rose completes her 4-year tenure on the board, and fittingly, tomorrow night, she will be inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Liz has advised us through some of the most exciting and watershed moments in publishing history. To mark the conclusion of her tenure, we have a few surprises in store. Liz, to perform one of your biggest hits with Taylor Swift, please welcome Alana Springsteen.
So, yesterday, we ran into Liz at the airport, and I had to come up with a really quick reason why we were on the same exact flight to New York City. So, Liz, now you know the actual reason. Surprise. When Ben and David asked me if I would come and be a part of surprising Liz tonight, there was no question in my mind that I would be here. I don't know if she knows this, but Liz has written so many of the songs that have been the soundtrack to my life. And without those songs that inspired me to start writing my own on my bedroom floor with a guitar that was twice my size, I don't know that I would be here today. Liz, over the past couple years, has really just taken me under her wing and helped me write my story and write songs that hopefully will help inspire and be the soundtrack to the lives of the next generation of artists and songwriters. And Liz, these next couple of days are really huge for you. And on behalf of me and the NMPA, I just want to say thank you for being such a fierce protector and champion of songwriters. Congratulations, I love you so much, and this is for you. I walked to the door with you, the air was cold, but something about it felt like home somehow, and I left my scarf there at your sister's house, and you still got it in your drawer even now. Oh, your sweet disposition and my wide-eyed gaze, we're singing in the car, getting lost upstate, and autumn leaves falling down like pieces into place, and I can picture it after all these days, and I know it's long gone, and that magic's not here no more, and I might be okay, but I'm not fine at all. Here we are again on that little town street. You almost ran the red, 'cause you were looking over at me. Wind in my hair, I was there, I remember it all too well. photo album on the counter. Your cheeks were turning red. You used to be a little kid with glasses in a twin-sized bed. And your mom was telling stories about you on the t-ball team. You told me about your past, thinking your future was me. And I know it's long gone, there was nothing else I could do. And I forget about you long enough to forget why I needed to. 'Cause here we are again in the middle of the night. We're dancing around the kitchen in the refrigerator light. Down the stairs, I was there, I remember it all too well. Yeah. Maybe we got lost in translation. Maybe I asked for too much, but maybe this thing was a masterpiece till you tore it all up, running scared. I was there, I remember it all too well. Yeah. Hey, you call me up again just to bring me like a promise, so casually cruel in the name of being honest. I'm a crumpled up piece of paper lying here, 'cause I remember it all, too well. And time won't fly, it's like I'm paralyzed by it. I'd like to be my old self again, but I'm still trying to find it. After plaid-shirt days and nights when you made me your own, you mail back my things and I walk home alone. But you keep my old scarf from that very first week, 'cause it reminds you of innocence and it smells like me. You can't get rid of it, 'cause you remember it all too well. Yeah. And there we are again when I loved you so. Back before you lost the one real thing you've ever known. It was rare, I was there, I remember it all too well. Wind in my hair, I was there, I remember it all. Down the stairs, you were there, you remember it all. It was rare, I was there, I remember it all too well.
Please welcome Vice President of Membership, Stephanie Lee.
No one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened.
Thank you, Alana. What a beautiful tribute to Liz. As we celebrate the service of one of our most inspiring board members, we now turn to the announcement of our new board of directors. As VP of Membership, I can attest that every cycle, this election gets more and more competitive, and it truly represents a healthy and thriving industry with extremely talented candidates from across the business. The results of our 2023-2025 Board of Directors election will now be announced by our Inspector of Elections, Peter J. Hagberg.
Good afternoon. As the official Inspector of Election, I have reviewed and verified the results with the vote tabulating agent, Ellen Phillip Associates. I will now announce the results of this year's NMPA Board of Directors election. The 6 executive-level members of the NMPA Board who receive automatic board seats are Jody Gerson, Keith Halprich, Laurent Hubert, Carrie-Ann Marshall, John Platt, and Jim Selby. The 12 elected Board of Director members who received the highest number of votes in alphabetical order are Marty Cuevas, Justin Kalifowitz, Golnar Khazra-Shahi, Jody Klein, Kenny McPherson, Chip McLean, Larry Mestel, Michael Molinar, Jeff Packman, Ralph Peer II, Erwin Robinson, and John Singer. Thank you.
Please welcome Amelia Binder, Senior Vice President of Government Affairs.
Baby, what a big surprise.
I'm honored to present our highest political award to a senator who has prioritized the fight for songwriters. Senator Dick Durbin has always stood out for his dedication to protecting music creators in today's challenging ecosystem. Hailing from Illinois, Senator Durbin represents a state with many musical titans, from legendary folk songwriter like John Prine to Chance the Rapper, a Chicago native. He truly understands the struggles of writers and their need for fair compensation. He is a longtime ally and was among the core group of original sponsors of the Music Modernization Act. Senator Durbin chairs the powerful Judiciary Committee, where our key policy issues are deliberated. Not only that, he's the number 2 in Senate leadership as the Majority Whip and has immense influence in moving legislation in Congress. We're lucky to call him a friend and are so pleased to present him with our President's Award. Since the Senate is in session today, he has sent us this video.
I'm Senator Dick Durbin. Thanks to the National Music Publishers Association and David Israelite for this honor. Songwriters are the core of the music industry, and I've always supported their fair pay. As an original sponsor of the Music Modernization Act, together we revolutionize the way songwriters and publishers receive royalties in the digital world from streaming. And as one of the lead sponsors of the CASE Act, we were able to find a way for independent songwriters to protect their copyrights. There are so many music creators in my home state of Illinois. This is a cause close to my heart. I look forward to continuing to work with you to protect songwriters in the future.
Please welcome NMPA President and CEO, David Israelite.
The NMPA Industry Legacy Award is in recognition of an individual who has made a significant contribution to the songwriting and publishing industry. It is a special honor to give this year's award to someone who has been a close, personal friend for more than 20 years, RIAA Chairman and CEO, Mitch Glazier. This is the first time the publishing industry's Legacy Award is being presented to a record label executive. For most of the music industry's history, this would have been highly controversial. Today, it is deserved. Mitch has worked tirelessly to improve the music industry, and not just for record labels and artists, but for songwriters and music publishers as well. Because Mitch understands what we know, that while there may be 2 separate and distinct copyrights in music, there is so much more that binds us together than separates our interests. Mitch was one of the first to embrace the one music philosophy, that the 2 sides of the music industry should work to increase the overall value of music, but never at the expense of the other. Mitch was a leader in changing the old culture that believed that record labels would benefit somehow if songwriters and music publishers got less from digital music services. He led the efforts to resolve decades-old unmatched money from the sale of physical products, establishing best practices for better matching, and was the catalyst in the recent CRB settlement that saw record labels agree to historic increases in the prices paid for vinyl and CDs. Mitch was also instrumental in helping pass the Music Modernization Act in 2018, resulting in Congress passing the most consequential music legislation in more than a generation, and by a unanimous vote. Mitch and I believe so strongly in working together that I am proud to announce tonight that starting this fall, Mitch and I will be co-teaching a new class at the NYU Steinhardt School, Advanced Topics in Recorded Music and Music Publishing. Please join me in congratulating Mitch Glazer.
Wow, thank you so much, David. This is especially meaningful to me because it does represent that partnership that David and I have been able to forge along with so many other leaders on all sides of the music industry over the past few years. And I want to give a special thanks to David and Michelle Lewis of Sona, Richard Burgess of A2IM, Harvey Mason Jr. of the Recording Academy, Bart Herbison of the Nashville Songwriters Association, so many leaders in the music industry who have come together because we all know that unless the entire industry is secure, no one in the industry is secure, and we have to do it together. So thank you so much for that. We've got a lot to fight for going forward. Everybody's talking about sophisticated generative artificial intelligence. I just want to say one little thing about that. Recently, my wife and I, my wife Carly, who's here with me tonight, thank you for coming, baby. We went to the graduation ceremony at Berklee College of Music in Boston because our son Grant is graduating. He's a songwriting major, so we have a very direct love for songwriters. And thank you. Give him a job. No, he's fine. He's fine. But at the graduation ceremony, the student speaker who was chosen to speak on behalf of the class, his name is Nick Kitsopoulos, he said something about AI that really stuck with me. He was comparing it to Berklee's motto, which is to be rather than to seem. In other words, to be your authentic self, to be an artist who makes art that represents your being and not to pretend or to seem to be someone that you're not. And he compared that and applied it to artificial intelligence and remarked that it can only seem, it can't be. It can never replace that humanity that is at the crux of our industry and our culture. It seemed to me, in his words, that he was exactly right, that artificial intelligence might be able to capture some of the glamour of music, but it can never capture the beauty, the true art that only songwriters and artists can bring to the world. And so it's that beauty that we're going to continue to fight for together. And I promise you that we will forge more partnerships to make sure that whatever opportunities and challenges come our way, we will fight together as one industry to protect the rights of artists and songwriters. And if we can do that, it will be a great legacy indeed. Thank you so much. I'm humbled and honored to receive this and so grateful.
I was finding something wondrous.
To perform a special surprise tribute to our songwriter icon, Brandi Carlile, please welcome Allison Russell.
Hi, everyone. I love Brandi Carlile so much. She's more than an icon. She's a miracle. She's been a miracle in my life, and her writing, her words inspire me every day. This was the first song off of In These Silent Days that I heard Brandy and the twins play live just as the lockdown was ending, and it gave me a lot of hope. So I am thrilled that NMPA are honoring our beautiful Brandy Carlisle with the Songwriting Icon Award. No one deserves it more. We love you, Brandy. When the fire inside that burns so bright begins to grow faded, it can be hard to see the ground on which you stand. Though you may not be afraid of walking in the darkness, you will feel like a stranger in this land. You can try to carve a faith out of your own, but a broken spirit may dry out the bone, and the edges of the night may cause you sorrow. You know, I may not be around this time tomorrow, but I'll always be with you. I'll always be with you. When the hope that you hold tightly to has all but vanished, and there are no words of comfort to be found, you will know what it means to be lost and without love. May you fight to kill that deafening sound. But our only dreams of yesterday are gone. They still haunt us like the ghosts of Babylon, and the breaking of the day might bring you sorrow. And I may not be around this time tomorrow, but I'll always be with you. I'll always be with you. You can try to carve a faith out of your own, but a broken spirit may dry out the bone, and the edges of the night may cause you sorrow. You know, I may not be around this time tomorrow, but our holy dreams of yesterday are gone. They still haunt us like the ghosts of Babylon, and the breaking of the day might bring you sorrow. And I may not be around this time tomorrow, but I'll always be with you. 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 I will always be with you. We love you, Brandy.
To perform another special surprise tribute to Brandy Carlisle, please welcome 11-time Grammy nominee, Tony Awards nominee, and CMA Song of the Year winner, Brandy Clark.
I'm beyond honored to be here today to honor my friend Brandy Carlisle. And I was thinking as we were learning this song, and when you have to learn somebody else's songs, you really pay attention in a different way. And I've always said that, there are singers that have a big S and then a little s. I've always been a little s singer. And so I'm always really intimidated to sing somebody like Brandi Carlile, who's a big S singer, But what I learn when I learn her songs is she's also a big S songwriter. And we recently made a record together that she produced, and she said something to me that changed me as a songwriter that I wanted to share today, because I think it's why she's such a great songwriter. When we were getting ready to record, I had given her probably 24 songs, and she chose 10 that she wanted us to do. And I said, why did you choose those 10? And she said, well, they were all great songs, but I chose the ones that sounded like you wrote them in your bedroom. And it was a really good reminder to me as a songwriter that when all of us started writing songs, it wasn't to impress each other. It was to express something inside of us, that the only way we could do it was through song. And I think Brandi Carlile is someone, when I listen to her catalog of music, that has never lost writing songs in her bedroom. And so this one is one of my favorites, and I'm so thrilled to do it today. And congratulations, Brandi, on this award. I don't need their money, baby, just you and me on the rock. They build wooden houses on frozen ponds in the summertime when the water's gone. Diagonal lines in their rolled out lawns, and the sage always smells so pretty. But nobody cares where the birds have gone when the rain comes down on Babylon. Stonemason phone ring all day long, and you gotta get back to the city. I build my house up on this rock, baby, every day with you. There's nothing in that town I need after everything we've been through. Me out in my garden and you out on your walk is all the distance this poor girl can take without listening to you talk. I don't need their money, baby, just you and me on the rock. I built paper planes when I learned to fly, like a 747 falling out of the sky. Folded and crooked, and now I'm wondering why I could always end up in the water. But nobody's asking why she's looking so thin, why she's laughing too hard, why she's drinking again. A falling star, she's a paper plane, and she was going down when you caught her. I build my house up on this rock, baby, every day with you. There's nothing in that town I need after everything we've been through. Me out in my garden and you out on your walk is all the distance this poor girl could take without listening to you talk. I don't need their money, baby, just you and me on the rock. It's an earthquake, it's a hard wind, it's a record breaking tide, and it is rolling in. It's a big sea, but it can't touch you and me. It's just a water view. Oh, and what a view. There's nothing in that town I need after everything we've been through. Me out in my garden, you out on your walk is all the distance this old girl can take without listening talk. I don't need their money, baby, just you and me on the rock. I don't need their money, baby, just you and me on the rock.
Please welcome Guy O'Siri.
Lord, that's too crazy. Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Guy, you and I started a friendship about 4 years ago when you called me, we didn't know each other, to tell me that you were one of the early investors in Peloton, and that as a music person for more than 30 years, you were troubled by the fact that we were suing them for the lack of music licenses, and you asked if you could help. You said, give me 1 week. And this is a litigation that had been going on for more than a year, pretty scorched earth. And you didn't quite keep your word. 2 weeks later, you brokered a settlement on the night before deposition started that led to an acceptance of our settlement terms, a moving forward license, and really the establishment of an in-home fitness revenue stream that's become a significant stream to the industry. Now, your career started in A&R. You then moved into talent manager, label executive, and then at some point you turned your focus to investing. Most recently with a 2015 Sound Ventures fund that you started with Ashton Kutcher. As people can see from your larger-than-life pictures up there, in 2016, Forbes named you as the top tech investor, and just last year, Variety named you as the Music Mogul of the Year. So maybe to start, tell us a little bit about how you went from A&R, just 17 years old, into management first.
Well, I actually started managing artists, and when I was 17, I was lucky. I had a lunch with Bernie Burlstein, who's an iconic figure in the entertainment business, and I said, and he was the originator of management. He managed all these really great artists, talent, and I said, Bernie, what's management like? And I'm 17 years old, and he's this like iconic figure, and he had lived in the biggest house I'd seen until I was 25. Right? And I'm thinking, oh, he's going to tell me all these great stories. He said, kid, while I'm having lunch with you here, somebody's having lunch with my client right now, telling him all the shit I'm getting wrong. And I was like, oh, I better go into the record business. I'm going to go into a record company. I'm not going to manage. So I focused on trying to get into a record company and started working with Madonna and Freddie DeMann at what was Maverick Records. And I got very lucky, very, early on. I signed Candlebox, and then I signed, that was the first really big artist that I signed, and then I signed Prodigy and the Deftones, and then Alanis Morissette was a really big moment for us, and so on and so on. So it was a really great run, and one of the things that you build up if you're an A&R, are there A&R people here at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes. So, our job is to try to find the next big thing before somebody else and to identify it. And years later, because I was working with Madonna on her records and we were partners in Maverick, when she had moved on from a manager, I ended up organically becoming a manager. It was nothing that I intended on doing, but then I ended up taking that on. And we did a few tours, some back-to-back-to-back tours, but I saw this moment in time, when you're managing and you come home from a tour, you have a little bit of time off. And I thought, okay, what do I want to do with this time off? And I thought, I'm going to take all that I've learned through the music business, which is identifying talent and then helping that talent reach an audience, and do that instead of finding the next big band, I would find the next big brand. All the things that I do now are very similar to that. I always think in terms of the music business, and when I'm meeting with a new founder, I think of them as an artist. I think of them as they're a visionary. They've got songs they want to share, their company, their idea with people, And do I feel that this person has magic? The same way that people in here have signed artists. Do they walk in the door and have magic? Do they have a great idea? And that's what I gravitate towards. And then I use the skills that we've all learned here in this room to help bring that to fruition, to help with the narrative, help get it out and build an audience, build a base.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been investing with Ashton for a while. You've gotten a lot of things right. You've yet to give me a tip, but you've gotten a lot of things right. Talk about how that partnership formed, and then in particular, the most recent Sound Ventures, which is focused on AI.
So when I started, that time period when I came off tour and decided I was going to focus on finding brands, I didn't know what to do. When you're looking for the next big artist, maybe you're going to a club, you're asking for demos. I just started to listen and pay attention to frequencies and what are people into, and I noticed that people were starting to drink coconut water, and so that's my first investment was Vita Coco, which is here in New York, and I identified this company and through my friend Seth, and then I went from there. I found Groupon. I thought it was a really cool idea, and I just started making these investments. Again, A&R, and the only other person from the entertainment community that was doing the same thing was really Ashton. And Ashton has an engineering background. So I'm more of an A&R guy that just listens, and he's more of the guy going in there and going, does this work? Does this tech work? And he's sitting with the engineers and trying to understand, and he's playing with the tech. I'm like, I hate the idea, I like the idea kind of guy. And so he was doing it, I was doing it. I called him one day and said, why don't we just do it together? No one else is doing this. And we did. We partnered up almost 2 decades ago. And we started making investments. We got, with early Uber and early Airbnb and Spotify and a bunch of other really great companies. And we were really there at the right time. Timing is everything. And we started investing. It was the same time as the iPhone, the same time as the App Store. So you could scale a company very quickly. And today with AI, it feels very similar to that time period where there's a whole new wave that's happening, and it's happening very quickly, where things can scale very quickly. So we, again, came together and we raised about $250 million to make investments in. It's a growth AI strategy.
Right. So this new fund, $250 million so far, and you've announced that you're targeting what you call category-defining companies.
Correct.
Tell me what you mean by that, and how do you go about finding that? Because, I agree, the AI issue has exploded with an acceleration unlike any issue I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. A lot of people weren't even aware of its presence as an issue, and then now it's all anyone wants to talk about. Mm-hmm. So what is a category-defining technology in this space?
So let me back up a little bit. We have 2 funds. We have our regular fund, which we're raising now, which is for the AI application side of things. The fund we just raised, which is is really for the foundational AI models. And what that means is, fast forward a few years from now, every company we work with is going to be using AI in some way, some form. It's not always going to be the thing we're most worried about. It's just going to be basics, things that we could save time or help us be better at what we're doing. So people are going to be using AI, and our thesis is they're going to plug into one of these foundational models. So a year or 2 years from now, whatever company you're working with, I'm going to say, well, who do you use? And they'll say, well, we use Google, or we use OpenAI, or we use Anthropic, and it'll be one of 5 or 6 companies that you're going to put all of your information on and use that model to help you with your business. So that $250 million is going to be used towards 6 or 7 of these investments for the things you plug into. Then there'll be all the applications that are built on top of them, which we're also going to work on, but these are the foundational plugins.
Yeah. So, I think probably more than anyone else on earth, you straddle this question of AI in the music industry. You're so well established in both. So thinking about AI in music creation, what role do you think it will have versus human creators? How do you think that plays out in the creative process of music?
Well, it's a really big question there. I think first I try to find my position in all of this. You know, if I weren't an investor in Peloton, I couldn't have called you and worked with you on trying to help. So I think the first thing I try to do is, one, stay close to the information. So by working with OpenAI and working with these companies, I can at least have a seat at the table, which is really key. I don't want to just look in. I want to have a seat, and I can at least ask questions or try to bring in some solutions. Everyone will have an opinion on this music and AI issue. The artists that I've spoken to, many of them, I haven't met an artist that is ecstatic about it. The idea that someone could just type in your name and write a song based on you is a really hard thing to grasp. I've spent a lot of my time on trying to figure out this problem. You know, I always start at talent. How do you protect the talent? That's just been my position in life. How do you pay attention to how they get paid, how they're protected? Out of the last 20 companies that I've met in music and AI, 20 out of 20 are showing me solutions that have nothing to do with talent. They're like, oh yeah, you can make music here, and you just pay $20 a month, and you can make all these songs, and you can use them in your shows, and you can use them in your podcasts, and you're good. And I go, well, how do you make this? How is talent getting paid? How do they get paid moving forward? And that's where you hit a wall. So no one has really solved that problem, and I'm spending a lot of time on either trying to solve it myself with what I know, or looking for someone out there who is solving it. But I'm spending a lot of time on this.
Yeah. So separate from the creative process, I think it's a different question about the impact on the business, on the industry itself. I think probably you're seeing a reaction from people in the music business that's very fearful. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, a lot of investors in music were gathered together, and I was quite surprised to hear, I think I could summarize, overall, they were more optimistic about its potential. They have fears, but they were more optimistic overall. So aside from the creative process, from the business side, which you're also very involved in, what do you think about the impact on this on the business itself?
So digital music was scary.
Yep.
And if any, it's easy to forget those moments, but there was a time period where if you talk to a teenager about buying music, it would be impossible. I'm never going to pay for music. I can just burn what I want. I don't need to pay for music anymore. And years later, when it looked like we were in big trouble, the Spotify appeared. And Spotify went, we figured out a way to take digital music and for people to want to pay for it, which again, at the time, no one wanted to pay for music. We're going to give it to you in a way that you will want to pay for it, and in a way that talent could get paid. And by the way, it took time. We invested in Spotify, and when we invested, they didn't even have a deal with labels in the U.S. So they were also on like, we're not sure about this company yet. We're going to test them out, and they started in Scandinavia and proved the model out, proof of concept that it's not going to kill the music business, that it'll actually help. So that took years. And AI moves a lot faster, but it may take some time for what we don't know. We don't know what is that solve where an artist can be paid. Now, there's definitely a business model for where artists don't get paid, but that's not my position. There's many models for investors to invest in where, hey, you can get all the songs you want. It's made by AI, and you never have to pay talent ever again. Yes, there's probably going to be ways that happens. There'll be legal issues on the prompting of those songs. If you just say, I want a song which is atmospheric, or hey, I want a song for the beach, you're not prompting, hey, I want a song that's like Bob Dylan, and then it gives you a song that's like Bob Dylan, and it's like you just prompted Bob Dylan to write that song. So there'll be legal issues across the board here. I'm trying to find my position in either through investment or through being proactive in something that can bring value to the talent.
Yeah. I think you're exactly right about the attitudes in the music industry, and I think it's bigger than just music. I think if you looked at almost all of the intellectual property industries, their history has been not a good one at figuring out new technologies. I mean, go back to the invention of the VCR, which the motion picture industry thought would kill their industry. Mm-hmm. And there are lots of examples like that. My sense is that the leaders of many of the music companies today have a very different attitude toward this, that they've learned quite a bit from those experiences, and that there's a willingness to figure this out earlier and without going through the same periods of either just ignoring the problem or trying to sue it out of existence, but actually figuring out how to make it work within the structures of the industry. Is that your sense?
Yeah, but it's just very confusing. No one has, when you look at the strike right now, with the the writer strike, AI is a big subject matter, but no one has the answers yet. It's very confusing. There is no structure. There is no clear path to, okay, we're going to support that, because that doesn't exist today. Currently, like I said, out of the 20 companies I just met with, none of them have this solved. So I don't know that we know what the answer is.
I mean, it's a much bigger issue, but is it analogous to when beat machines came on the scene and studio musicians that play drums thought that would put them out of business and somehow ruin the industry? And now the creative process incorporates a lot of those technologies that clearly do impact some people's jobs, but doesn't change necessarily what it takes to be successful in the creative process. There was news yesterday. Paul McCartney announced that AI has enabled him to put out the final Beatles song. He told the BBC that the technology has allowed them to extricate John Lennon's voice from an old demo, and that the song will be released sometime this year. What are your thoughts on the moral and the legal implications of what Paul McCartney is talking about yesterday?
Well, if you saw the Peter Jackson film, that's how it was done. Peter Jackson was able to somehow pull a vocal out of a session or a guitar out of a session, and to identify what they are and separate them out, which is remarkable. I think the difference there is it's done with the bands, saying we want to do this, right? And that's much different than someone just taking John Lennon and mashing him into someone else and saying this is a new song. It's important to right now. The thing about being so overly concerned, so far no one has made $1 off of this idea of AI music. There's not like oh my God, we're having to deal with this every day, and this is taking away from what currently is. It's just an early seed of an idea. It's not like when digital music came out and people were burning songs, you're like, we're losing sales. We're not losing any sales right now, and we're not making any sales right now because of it. It's early days. We haven't quite figured out how this can be our friend.
Yeah. Another artist that I know you're close with, Sting, he recently came out and said that he thought with AI there's going to be a battle we all have to fight in the next couple of years, defending our human capital against AI. Mm-hmm. I know you've dealt with him on this issue, talked with him. You don't have to share any of those private conversations, but what's your reaction to how Sting has reacted to this threat?
I've spoken to hundreds of artists on this matter, and sometimes just simple sharing what AI can do. And I ran into Sting the other day, and we talked about it. And I've also, know Paul and talked to everyone I talked to. This is the conversation you were here yesterday, and how many people brought up AI?
Yeah.
So it is topical. I'm on the side of everyone's going to have their opinion on it. I am on the side of talent, which is you can't just type in my name and pop out a song. And how does that? I didn't give you that right to do that. So it's complicated, and so I'm with him on that. We should be paying attention to this. I don't know to what extremes, but I'm not walking in going, oh, that's amazing. I mean, I've heard I heard a new Nirvana song the other day that someone made, and it was pretty incredible. It is remarkable. So as a fan, it's an exciting concept. Innovation has always been exciting to me. It is A&R. I love finding things that are new and innovative. As a person whose life has, my professional life has been protecting talent, you have to be cautious. And so I agree with the front part of it, which is we have to pay attention to this, and we have to create some guardrails. But I'm also excited on the other end of once those are set, wow, what could we do with it? In the same way that we have the last Beatles song ever, thanks to a technology called AI.
Right. So we'll close with this. I've suggested that it might be helpful to think about AI really in 3 different buckets. You've got the legal bucket. There are legal issues, clearly. There's going to be litigation. That will play out over a very long period of time. You have the legislative and policy bucket, where governmental entities like Congress are going to be debating this, maybe acting. That's going to play out over a long time. The third bucket, though, is the one that I think is probably the most important, and the one that might be the one that makes the most good, which is the business bucket. I was with a bunch of senior executives yesterday from digital music companies, and I suggested that I thought they were more important than the members of Congress or the judges, because the business decisions that they make and that music companies make are probably going to drive more of where this ends up than those first 2 buckets. Your reaction to that, and any final thoughts you have?
Look, I like to dream big, but I had dinner the other night with one of the greatest songwriters, and 2 of them, and they both were they weren't so excited about this concept. And that you could just type in their names and pop out a song. So I said, but what if 1 million people popped up your name and used you to write their song, and you owned half of 1 million songs, and you were part of birthing 1 million songs? And they both were like, I never thought of it that way. So we don't know. We really don't know. And I'm trying to find my place in these conversations to at least be able to help. I don't know that I can. There's lots of things that I don't call you on to say, hey, let's solve this problem, because I don't know that I can. I call you when I actually believe that the other side wants to make things work. But I'm hopeful, and I'm investing my money and time into this innovative technology.
Well, I for one, am very thankful that you're doing that, because I know that you have creators in mind and you put them first. And so it gives me a lot of confidence to know that you're part of that conversation in the AI community and that you have that influence. And I really want to thank you for sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thank you.
Thank
you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Great.
To honor our non-performing songwriter icon, Ashley Gorley, please welcome Luke Bryan.
If you wanna call me, call me, call me. You don't have to worry about it, baby. You can wake me up.
Where is Ashley? There. Hey, baby. I got a funny story. So me and my manager and my tour manager were backstage, and they had a bottle of Vouv on ice. And I had to have a little of it, because it's kind of my thing to have a little something before I go sing. And we were kind of joking. I was like, well, there's got to be something to celebrate today. That's why we'll just have some Vouv. So I unscrewed the little thing, and the damn cork shot out and hit me in the eyeball. Literally 5 minutes ago. So if I didn't have shellfish or anything if I start swelling up here, but I have no idea what the hell this is, but I'm here for Ashley. He's won the non-performing, which is kind of, non-performing sounds so harsh. You perform you perform in the songwriting room every day, Ashley. So, no, but congratulations. What an honor to be. So glad it could work out to where I could be up here to honor just a dear friend, a great person, a great husband and dad, and just somebody that me as an artist can look up to. I mean, for those of you that don't know Ashley, I mean, never has there ever been a harder, more driven, determined, focused songwriter in the history of Nashville. And yeah, you can whistle and applaud to that. But he inspires. When I know I'm being lazy, you can always know that Ashley Gorley is not, and he's out there writing every day. And we've had so many amazing memories writing through the years, and just to be able to sit in the room and from day one, I mean, it's crazy. Anytime we've ever finished a song throughout my whole career, you always write songs that, you'll have a bad day. You're like, oh, that's never going to make the album. But for some reason, anytime you finish one with Ashley, it's always in contention, even if, it's always in contention of making the album and making albums that I've put out. And like I said, we've always just written songs just because we were having fun and trying to take my career to a different space. So Ashley, I thank you for that. Thank you for all the songs through the years, and I'm gonna do a couple. I'm gonna do a couple we got lucky on tonight. So are y'all hearing this? All right, good deal. People talking about what is and what ain't country. What gives them a right to wear a pair of beat-up boots? Is it the size of your tires and your fires, or your wild-ass buddies? Give me a minute, let me hit you with some hometown truth. You can be a cowboy on the Texas plain, or a plowboy waiting on the rain. We're all a little different, but we're all the same. Everybody doing their own thing. I got my dirt road cred when I was 12 on a no-cap tractor hauling them bales, backing in boats, fishing limb lines, running bird dogs through the Georgia pines. Step side covered down in peanut dust. Friday night spotlighting down was us. It might not have been you. I can't judge, just be proud of what makes you country. Does it run in your blood? Did it come from your daddy and mama? Were you converted by an Alabama song on the radio that felt so right? Did you lock eyes with a little green-eyed girl from Jackson? Tell me what got you, I just gotta know. Me, I got my Sunday learning in a live oak church, Silver Queen corn in the backyard dirt, waiting for the fall to finally come along so I can grab my gun and get my outside on. Step side covered down in peanut dust. Friday night spotlighting down was us. It might not have been you. I can't judge, just be proud of what makes you country. Be from a city or a little farm town, whatever kind of square that you drove around. Do you wear it on your sleeve or keep it deep down? You know you gotta let it out. I got my dirt road cred back when I was 12 on a no-cap tractor hauling in bales, backing in boats, fishing limb lines, running bird dogs through the Georgia pines. Step side covered down in peanut dust. Friday night spotlighting down was us. It might not have been you. I can't judge, just be proud of what makes you country. Whatever makes you country. country. Thank you. How's my eye? I'm just playing. Oh, Lord. This guitar is not enjoying the flight it had. Come on, girl. Or boy. All right, there she is. I just can't help calling her a girl, right? Anyway, this is the biggest song of my career thus far. I'm gonna go on and call it. Yeah, this will be the biggest, and it has a commanding lead over all of my others. Anyway, but when I Google the streams, at least. But it's funny. I didn't write this one, but this song landed. Dallas Davidson and Ashley sent this song to me, and it just I don't know. It just came about where we knew it was something special, and Dallas would call me, and he would be at some songwriter around, or some. He was at a golf event one time, and he told me everybody was going crazy, and so Dallas really, was a big salesperson on this song, and finally, all the puzzle pieces came together, and I recorded it, and it's just been something really special since day one. I would say it's probably the closest thing I've had to almost crossing over into all genres, and but it's just been an amazing song to have through the years. And tomorrow night in Syracuse, it'll be the loudest response of the night. And thank you again for this one, Ashley. And this was called "Play It Again." So. She was sitting all alone over on the tailgate, 10 legs swinging by a Georgia plate. I was looking for a boyfriend, thinking, no way, she ain't got one. Soon as I sat down, I was falling in love, trying to pour a little sugar in her Dixie cup, talking over the speakers in the back of that truck. She jumped up and cut me off. She was like, oh my God, this is my song. I've been listening to the radio all night long, sitting around waiting for it to come on, and here it is. She was like, come here, boy, I wanna dance. For I said a word, she was taking my hand, spinning in the headlights. She gave me a good night kiss. She said, play it again, play it again, play it again. Somebody play it again, play it again, play it again. I'd have gave that DJ my last dime if he would have played it just one more time. But a little while later, we were sitting in the drive in my truck. Before I walked her to the door, I was scanning like a fool, AM, FM, XM too. But I stopped real quick when I heard that groove. Man, you should have seen her light up. She was like, oh my God, this is my song. I've been listening to the radio all night long. I can't believe that it came back on, but here it is. She was like, come here, boy, I wanna dance. For I said a word, she was taking my hand, spinning in the headlights. She gave me a good night kiss. The next Friday night, we were sitting out under the stars. You should have seen her smile when I broke out my guitar. She was like, oh my God, we've been listening to the radio all night long, sitting around waiting for it to come on, and here it is. And she was like, come here, boy, I want to dance. For I said a word, she was taking my hand, spinning in the headlights. She gave me a good night kiss. She said, play it again, play it again, play it again. Somebody play it again, play it again, play it again. Play it again, play it again, play it again. Somebody play it again, play it again, play it again. Thank you, Garley. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Luke. You know, NMPA songwriter icons have included some of the greatest singer-songwriters in history. Taylor Swift, Ryan Tedder, Garth Brooks, Billy Joel, Sting, John Bon Jovi, and Alicia Keys. But in honoring these amazing storytellers, we felt it was time to put a spotlight on those iconic songwriters who don't perform their own songs. Luke, that's what a non-performing songwriter is. And that's why, for the first time, we are honoring tonight a non-performing songwriter icon. Our choice for this first-of-its-kind award was an easy one. Ashley Gorley has won just about every songwriting award that exists. He has written a record 67 #1 singles. More than 400 of his songs have been recorded by artists such as Luke Bryan, Chris Stapleton, Carrie Underwood, Thomas Rhett, Dan and Shay, Kelsey Ballerini, Bon Jovi, Morgan Wallen, Weezer, and many more. In fact, his hit Last Night, Today, leads the Billboard Hot 100 for the 10th week in a row, the longest #1 this year. He has been named the ASCAP Songwriter of the Year an unprecedented 9 times. He is a 6-time Billboard Top Country Songwriter, a 6-time NSAI Songwriter of the Year, and in 2021, he was named the Songwriter of the Year by iHeartRadio for all genres. In fact, NSAI named him Songwriter of the Decade in 2022. And just a few weeks ago, he was named Songwriter of the Year by the Academy of Country Music. Basically, because there is not any award he has not already won, we had to create a new award. There is no question that he is a songwriting genius. But that genius is not the only secret to his success. As Luke mentioned, Ashley Gorley has an unparalleled work ethic. He remains humble despite that genius. And I can personally attest that he has never turned away a call to help his fellow songwriters in the struggle for fair compensation. And that is why I suspect it will not be long before we are honoring him on the Thursday night of this week. It is my distinct honor to present the first ever non-performing songwriter award to a songwriting legend and my friend, Ashley Gorley.
You're gonna miss this. You're gonna want this back. You're gonna wish these these days hadn't gone by so fast. These are some good times, so take a good look around. You may not know it now, but you're gonna miss this. Before she knows it.
Gotta do it. Thanks, guys. David, that was awesome. Appreciate those kind words. First off, I got to say I believe writing songs is a gift and a calling from God, and I want to thank Him for that. Second, yeah, I'm glad for that. Second, I'm really happy my wife Mandy is here. First time she's come to these events here in New York. I love to come to these every year. She's been my constant. We've been married 23 years. She loves me unconditionally, regardless of what the charts or how the writing session goes that day. So as writers, we need that. That's my balance every day, and I love you. I appreciate that. Thanks to her, my kids, my mom and dad for loving and believing in me early on. Luke, wherever he went, that was amazing. You and Carrie, your team, y'all are the busiest of anybody I know, any artist on the planet, the most in demand. So the fact that you come up here means the world to me. There he is. That's right. I'll never forget that. I know we've celebrated 6 number ones together, a bunch of other songs, but like you said, the friendship means the most in the life we got to live together. So I really, really appreciate it. I don't know how y'all got here and made it happen today, but that'll never be forgotten by me. Appreciate y'all. I went to CMA Fest, speaking of Luke, Sunday night. He doesn't know this, but CMA Fest is a big 4-day country music festival in Nashville. They play the football stadium. All the fans come out, and I saw Luke close out with a short set there. He closed the whole thing out, of course, being the entertainer that he is. And I just sat in the audience and watched everybody go nuts. And it was just awesome to hear those songs. It's been a while. I'm not real good at reflecting or thinking back or being in the moment sometimes, but I just kind of stood there in the audience and watched them sing the songs. I watched everybody scream the words to these songs, having a great time. I went and told everybody in the section that I wrote all the songs. No, I did not do that. I didn't do that, but I did just soak it in. And my mind went back to where and how those songs were written, kind of those writing rooms. Everything being different, the studios, the tour bus lobbies, wherever we writers go to make this stuff up, which is everywhere. I started thinking about those and just the titles and hooks and everything I've kept in my phone for the last 20 years. The mumbles of melodies that y'all do not want to hear that are in my voice memos. I looked before I came up here. It's at number 12,234. Unnamed, awful voice memos. If they're good, I'll title them. So those are the ones that just didn't make the cut. So anyway, the messy daily journey of trying to write what hopefully could become somebody's favorite song never gets old to me. I can't imagine ever stopping. It's just, I love to do it. It's never the same twice, and it's always worth it when you get that text or phone call from Carrie Edwards or Luke or whoever it is telling you that they actually recorded the song today. It sounds great, and getting to hear it. That is something with my gig. That's kind of the pinnacle, getting to hear that on the radio or with the crowd singing along. So it was awesome to get to do that Sunday. I want to say thanks to all the artists like Luke through the years that have trusted me and my songs, my instincts, whatever lyrics, whatever melodies I was coming up with, that they put their trust in me and let me be a part of the stories they were telling. That's really special. I want to thank all my co-writers over the years, way too many to name. My publishers along the way, Corey Gearman, Chris Farron, Cameron Strang, Warner Chappell, Roundhill, and now Domain and Sony for being awesome partners to me, believing in me. I appreciate them. My tape room music staff, ASCAP, and really the Nashville and country music community for just giving me a home away from my hometown. Any guys have been there? Everybody's moving there, but there's a reason. It really feels like home, and I didn't know anybody in the state when I went there. They made me feel like I belonged to make up these crazy songs. So much love to represent Nashville. I appreciate getting to do that. Finally, I want to thank David and the team at the NMPA. Like so many people have said, they keep songwriters and publishers like me informed. They fight for us so that we can keep on creating and do this thing that we love. And they shine a light on behind the scenes writers like me with awards like this. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
I feel far too young to say this, but this is the 19th year that I am giving a State of the Industry report for songwriters and music publishers. And I am so pleased to be able to stand up here and tell you that in those 19 years, the state of the industry is stronger than it has ever been. I can report that last year, the total revenue for the songwriting and publishing industry was just over $5.6 billion. And that number does not capture some of the CRB money that we are owed retroactively that will eventually get added to that figure. That represents a 19.25% increase year over year. And when you look back over the last 10 years and look at those percentage increases, you can see that we are in an industry today that is more than 2.5 times what it was just 8 years ago. Now, looking at where that income comes from, we can report that performance still represents the dominant form of income at just over 48% of the total revenue. And a congratulations to Mike O'Neill at BMI, Beth Matthews at ASCAP, who are here with us, who both had record fiscal years this past year. And while CSAC and GMR do not report their revenue publicly, I can also share that John Josephson at CSAC and Randy Grimmett at GMR, also both here with us, both had record years this past year. Now, for the first time, performance dropped below 50% of the total revenue, despite the fact that all 4 PROs had record years. And that's because the growth in the other categories has been so significant, specifically with regard to synchronization, where much of the work that NMPA has done has created these new revenue streams that we now enjoy today. Now, one of the things that we reported on last year was that the new data that we would get from the Mechanical Licensing Collective would give us an opportunity to share with you much more information about the industry with greater transparency. One of the things that we learned from this data is that because the MLC captures every single mechanical dollar, and because we can measure that against what NMPA gets reported to by our own members, we now know that NMPA represents 96% of the total industry within our membership, which is the highest representation of any industry for any trade association in Washington, D.C. Now, we've had the benefit of looking at the new rate structure in place for now 2 months of reporting from the MLC. We have 2 months of data to compare year over year. And because of our historic settlement in the CRB, we now find ourselves in a position where we are completely in common interest with the digital music companies that are now our partners. And that revenue stream is represented by 3 different things. You have our rate, you have their number of subscribers, and you have the price. If you look at the rate increase chart that represents the new CRB settlement, you know that we are already enjoying the highest rates in history, the highest rates in the world, and they're only going to go up. Next, when you look at subscribers, I can share with you new information today that shows you the number of subscribers by company. This is information that has not before been made public. Some of these companies report on their subscribers, some do not. But this gives you a representation of the subscriber growth that we are experiencing on top of now the higher rate. And we have a very significant announcement tonight that I can report, that when Amazon and Apple raised their subscription prices, Not only did they not lose subscribers, they experienced subscriber growth. And that shows you that music continues to be undervalued in the pricing by digital music services. We have a long way to go, but I am hopeful that this new information will be the encouragement that the industry needs to get pricing where it should be. Now, looking at the 2 months of data from 23 compared to just 1 year ago, we are already experiencing more than a 27% increase in the total revenue that comes from streaming because of this combination of the highest rates ever, more subscriber growth, and in some cases, higher prices. Now, you're getting to hear from a lot of rock stars on the stage tonight, but I want you to hear next from one of NMPA's own rock stars, and that's Danielle Aguirre, our General Counsel and EVP.
Thank you, David, and hello, everyone. As the head of NMPA's legal efforts, I'm here to report that in fiscal year 2023, NMPA continues to deliver to its members. This year, over $66 million was distributed from legal recoveries and settlements. This is equal to a 456% average return on your dues. I know, come on, we're proud of that. This year's recoveries bring NMPA's total all-time legal recovery to almost $1.2 billion, with a B. While we've been successful on many fronts to ensure that songwriters and music publishers are paid fairly, a notable challenge remains. Astoundingly, there are still massive global companies who refuse to license the music on their platforms. Such companies will not acknowledge your creative contributions, and they avoid paying for the songs that are launched, leaked, consumed, and shared by billions of people on their service. Most of you who have not been living under a rock know which company I am referring to in particular. I'm referring to Twitter. Over the past 18 months, NMPA has engaged in a takedown effort focused on addressing the massive amount of unlicensed music on Twitter. And we have come to understand the true extent of its infringement. Despite the fact that Twitter's main competitors are licensed and paying for the songs shared on their platforms, and despite the fact that Twitter has relied on music to help grow and expand its popularity, calls for the platform to license have gone unanswered. Among social media platforms, Twitter stands alone. It was recently reported that NMPA's annual meeting is a stage for bombshell announcements, and we don't want to disappoint you. So today, in the Middle District of Tennessee, NMPA, together with 17 music publishers representing thousands of songwriters, filed a federal copyright infringement lawsuit against Twitter for its failure to license. That's right. And its failure to pay for your music that is widely available on its platform. The complaint seeks over $250 million in damages for hundreds of thousands of noticed infringements and approximately 1,700 works, including songs recorded by the biggest artists in the world. And we are confident this is just the tip of the iceberg. This case spans the full scope of the music publishing industry, from the majors to independents of all sizes. And we are united in the fight for Twitter to pay songwriters fairly. If you stand with us, and do you agree that Twitter should be paying for songwriters and publishers for the millions of songs on its platform, send a message to Elon Musk and tweet your support with the hashtag #PayForMusic. Thank you. This will not be an easy fight, but it is a necessary one. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to David. Thank you.
Luke Bryan just told me that he wants to make sure you know he knows what NMPA was. He's trying to make a joke. It's all right. And this is not a joke, but Guy Oseary just texted Elon Musk telling him to do the right thing. He wouldn't share the private cell number with me, but he sent the text. I hope to see this hashtag, Pay for Music, trending by tonight. We're celebrating a lot of champions for songwriters this evening, and we have a special one in our audience. The Supreme Court recently decided the Warhol versus Goldsmith case. It was a critical win that allows songwriters and music publishers to better protect their works from unauthorized uses, something which will continue to be challenged in unprecedented ways in the AI era. We filed a brief with the Supreme Court in support of copyright owners, reinforcing that they should have the right to make or approve decisions about new, reimagined uses of their works. We have with us tonight Lisa Blatt, the Williams & Connolly attorney who successfully argued the case on behalf of Lynn Goldsmith against the Warhol Foundation in the Supreme Court. Please join me in giving Lisa and Lynn a round of applause. Thank you. And as we acknowledged at the top of the program, Liz Rose is departing the board after fulfilling her 4-year term. And Liz, I hope you were surprised by the opening. And she's left very big shoes to fill. And I'm so pleased to announce tonight that another songwriter champion will be joining the NMPA board. 4-time Grammy nominee, including last year's first ever Songwriter of the Year category, plus CMA, ACM, and BMI Pop Song of the Year winner. Please welcome to the NMPA board, Laura Veltz. NMPA's charitable arm, the Songs Foundation, is also getting some new leadership. We are excited to welcome to the new NMPA Songs Foundation Board of Directors, many of whom are in the audience with us today. And in addition to its new board, we're also expanding its focus. After listening to songwriters throughout the pandemic, a recurring theme was the need for mental health assistance. Therefore, we embarked on finding a partner to offer wellness and recovery services. Today, we are so happy to announce our new partnership with We Connect Health. We Connect's mission is to be a life-saving haven for those dealing with mental health and substance abuse challenges. It's devoted to empowering people through innovative mental wellness strategies and dedicated support networks. It's 100% anonymous and confidential to access. Starting July 1st, the Songs Foundation will pay for these services for any songwriter who would like to take part in the program. I would normally ask my staff to stand and be recognized, but they're all working. And so despite the fact that they're not in the audience enjoying this show, they all are here, and I would like for all of you to please recognize the most talented, dedicated, hardworking staff in the music industry, the NMPA staff. And now we're going to move to the main event. There are special occasions in my job where I get to do something not as the head of NMPA, but as a fan. And this is one of those times. I have been a follower of our 2023 songwriter icon for as long as she has been making music. Shortly after starting at NMPA in 2005, Brandi Carlile released her first eponymous album, and it was brilliant. I recall thinking then how lucky I was to play some small role in helping songwriters like her. She became one of my most listened to artists, and I sought out every opportunity to see her perform. Fast forward, February 10th, 2019. Brandi performed her song, The Joke, at the 61st Grammy Awards. It was that night where she won her first 3 Grammys, despite 6 previous albums which were all worthy of such recognition and awards. She was the most nominated woman at the Grammys that year, perhaps some acknowledgement that it was overdue. On a night that featured over-the-top productions and theatrics, Brandy and her band performed on a dark stage with nothing but her powerful lyrics displayed on the wall behind her. I urge you to go watch that performance and pay particular attention to the faces of the superstar artists who populated the front rows. That is a crowd that is normally sparing with showing signs of their approval to their peers, but not during this performance. They stood, clapped throughout the last minute of the song, and recognized what many already knew. She was the rarest of stars who was authentic, honest, and writes songs that matter. I wrote on my social media the next day, quote, 13 years, 6 studio albums, and on February 10th, 2019, Brandy Carlisle becomes an overnight success. For those who are just discovering her, do yourself a favor and listen from the start, end quote. She has since won 6 more Grammys, racking up 25 total Grammy nominations, a number that's worthy of applauding. That is a number that will no doubt grow as she continues to write, produce, and perform such outstanding music. She is a #1 New York Times best-selling author and continues to give back through her own charity, the Looking Out Foundation, as well as through many others. Over these last 18 years, it has been so satisfying to watch as she has become one of the most decorated songwriters and artists of her generation. It is my humble honor to present this year's NMPA Songwriter Icon to Miss Brandy Carlisle.
I can't believe I just got to stand back there and hear such lovely things get said about me. Thank you so much. I'm totally blown away and flattered and just really honored by this recognition because of how I use songwriting, because of what songwriting means to me and why I do it. I write songs so that I can be with other people in the esoteric, in the ether, but also so I can be with other people in a room, so that I can be with other people on stage. I do it as a way to belong, and I think that's why I've always done it. It's a way to communicate. It's kind of why I've learned to do anything, so that I can communicate with other people through songs. And I have no interest in doing it alone. I don't do anything alone. I don't like food alone. You know, I like to be able to talk about how great it is to somebody else. I don't think comedy is funny alone. And songwriting for me is the conduit by which I relate to other human beings. And sometimes I have to shut it off in myself. I can't do it all the time. I'm listening to the remarks of other writers and I'm thinking it's just remarkable that they can go to work every day and they can write songs. And I feel like I have to kind of shut that pipeline off sometimes and replace it with other forms of creativity, which may not strike you as creativity, but they do to me. Things like finish carpentry, or fishing and captaining a boat, or curation. You may have noticed I do a lot of curation of concerts and get-togethers and things like that. And then every once in a while, I'll know that it's time for me to end my constant struggle with internal feelings of aloneness and write songs again. And I do that staring at fires, stars, and waves. Those 3 things make songs come to me, those sort of elements of nature. And I've been writing for 20 years with my bandmates and twin brothers, Tim and Phil Hanseroth, and it's really important for me to acknowledge them. They're always right here in my mind, to my left and right, just being identical and weird. I have to acknowledge the Highwomen, the country band that I'm in on the side. The community I've found with them in songwriting has been incredible, powerful. It's not really a song for me until I've shared it. So I'll write a song, and then I'm that girl that's gonna call you immediately on the phone and sing it to you and try to glean some kind of a reaction of whether or not you understand me. My friend Jody Gershon knows this because I send her every single thing I ever dream up for a second. Tracy too. Tracy Gershon and Jody Gershon are my girls I give my most raw songwriting form to. I wanna thank my wife, Catherine Carlisle. I want to thank Allison Russell for singing tonight, you beautiful thing. And Brandy Clark, what a beautiful rendition of You and Me on the Rock. And I think we can all appreciate that she called me a big-ass singer, right? I have gleaned so much songwriting inspiration from the uniqueness of other writers who write in community. People like Elton John and Bernie Taupin, without whom I don't know if I would do this job. I don't know if I could be a songwriter without Elton and Bernie. Emily Salyers and Amy Ray, the way that they relate to each other separately and together in such a juxtaposed. And, you know, this weekend, you may notice I don't have much of a voice left. I had such an incredible experience with the embarrassment of riches that is Joni Mitchell's catalog of songwriting to play with. And I was struck by how songs endure through time and how they mature and take on other meanings and become timeless, become prophecy. A song like Both Sides Now from a nearly 80-year-old Joni Mitchell after everything that she's been through, that to me is the antithesis of aloneness. That's an attempt to reach out to you and relate to you, and I aspire to that level of songwriting. So as long as I do it, I'll be doing it so that I can be in community with everyone else on this planet. And this award means a lot to me, and I'm not the greatest speaker, but I figured maybe I could play you a song and that it would help explain to you some of what I'm saying. Just after midnight tonight, my firstborn little girl turns 9. And I'm gonna get home real quick to be with her when she wakes up. I can still remember 9 years ago today, Catherine's looking like she's gonna go into labor, my wife. And I'm thinking, God damn it, not on Donald Trump's birthday, man. I was reading the birthday book, and I was like, no, say it ain't so. If there is anything to these characteristics and how they transcend, just let it not be my child. But she made it. After midnight, she turned up. Still tricky, because she was born to 2 mothers on Father's Day. But it wasn't as tricky as it could have been, was it? And I love her with all my heart. She's everything to me. And being a mother is it is the end of being alone inside my mind. But I never felt more alone than when I first saw her. And that's one of these things that's never been really, feels uncomfortable even admitting it now, you know, without singing. I can sing it and it feels all right, but admitting it now makes me feel like a bad mom. And I needed people to understand how I felt, which was just like a fish out of water, you know. I didn't carry this kid, my wife did. And here she is, she's born, and all the straight people who recruit gay people to have children, really. They say you're gonna know exactly what to do, you know what I mean? That you're never gonna experience such love and you're gonna lay eyes on this person, it's all gonna make sense. And it didn't. And I thought, maybe it's because I don't have enough gay movies or books or like things where there's like gay moms and I can understand who the hell am I in this person's life that I didn't carry, who doesn't really want me to hold her, you know, because I'm not breastfeeding. And I thought, well, I can't feel this alone. I need to write a song so that I can be brought into the sacred circle of family and understood. And so that's what this honor means to me, that you recognize me as a writer and that you understand me and my friends. And so I want to thank you and sing you a song about the end of being alone inside my mind. Thank you. Welcome to the end of being alone inside your mind. You're tethered to another and you worried all the time. You always knew the melody, but you never heard it rhyme. She's fair and she is quiet, Lord. She doesn't look like me. She made me love the morning. She's a holiday at sea. New York streets are as busy as they always used to be. But I am the mother of Evangeline. The first things that she took from me were selfishness and sleep. She broke 1,000 heirlooms I was never meant to keep. She filled my life with color, canceled plans and trashed my car. None of that was ever who we are. Outside of my windows are the mountains and the snow. I hold you while you're sleeping and I wish that I could go. All my rowdy friends are out accomplishing their dreams, but I am the mother of Evangeline. They still got their morning paper and their coffee and their time, and they still enjoy their evenings with the skeptics and the wine. Oh, but all the wonders I have seen I will see a second time. From inside of the ages through your eyes. And you are not some accident where no one thought it through. The world that stood against us made us made to fight for you. And when we chose your name, we knew that you'd fight the power too, girl. You're nothing short of magical and beautiful to me. I will never hit the big time without you. So they can keep their treasure and their ties to the machine. 'Cause I am the mother of Evangeline. They can keep their treasure and their ties to the machine. I am the mother of Evangeline. Thank you to the NMPA for seeing me, and I really appreciate the acknowledgement for my songwriting. Thank you all very, very, very much. And I don't feel alone at all right now. Thank you.
So you see what I mean, yeah? Thank you so much for joining us today. 363 days from tonight, we will be back in this venue for the next NMPA annual meeting. Please enjoy the reception afterwards, and God bless.